Let's jump into a Transformer Thursday reveal, I guess. Sure. We got a brand new piece of news here. Typical to how we found out about some of the other past masterpieces and even some of the premium finish line from Takara-Tomy. Let's talk about the next member of the Combiner Team Raiden. MPG, Gattai Great Giant, the MPG line. That is the new thing that Takara-Tomy is doing. For people that aren't aware, there's always sublines with the masterpieces. The first one we got was the MPB with Brave, which died after 2 releases. We have the MPM that's still around today with the movie masterpieces. And of course, the MPG that we have here today, which apparently is 3 different G's for Gattai, which means to combine, Great because they're big, and Giant because they're giant. Of course, you also have the MPZ line, which is their Takara-Tomy Masterpiece Zoids line, but that's kind of in the distant cousins of the Transformer world. It's all kind of related in a crazy way. Anyways, so we got a small teaser image here. Just like last time, we get the small teaser image covered with text and stuff like that. And then we get the better images later on in high quality where we'll break it down. And it is that of the second member of Raiden, the Train Combiner team from the Headmasters TV series in Japan, and the long-time Diaclone background of characters. Let's talk about Getsuei. So Getsuei was the right leg of the team, and according to the Japanese writing here for the masterpiece reveal, he transforms into an EF65 1000 electric locomotive, which is much more vintage kind of locomotive from back in the day of Japanese history and their love of trains. They love trains even more than we do, which is crazy to think about it. I wonder how Thomas the Tank Engine does over there. Anyways, so this was revealed to us, so we finally get at least a grainy image of the alt mode, the robot mode, and the, I guess, combiner leg mode. And if he's anything like what we already saw from Shuki, he's going to come with, of course, his little train piece, his weapons, and his combiner pieces to make that leg accessory. For people that are confused about this name, just like Shuki, Getsui's name has a deeper meaning. Getsui means in Japanese, if you kind of phonetically translate it, to moon shadow. There's actually a video game series for the Nintendo Switch and I believe the PS5 called Getsui Gakuden. So that's kind of, that same kind of vibe of the moon shadow darkness kind of thing. And the play on that name is, well, he's called Getsuei, and as a result, he is the night fighter among the Raiden team. So he's the one who fights at nighttime. Sure, okay. Considering those guys didn't really get much characterization, unfortunately, in both the manga version of the Headmasters series as well as the animation from Toei back in the day. So they just, these are the combiner teams. Whatever little time they get on the screen, hey, that's pretty awesome. So again, that's what we got. Limited news, unfortunately, but hopefully we'll get some nicer images of it. I am surprised how quickly the announcement of the second limb has already come out when we don't even have the release of the first one yet, 100%. So I get a feeling that Takara-Tomy probably had all these guys ready to go because we know, again, I've talked about the story about this, how, again, this was something that was planned pre-2020, pre-crazy Big V nuttiness, and then that all happened, and we went into, at least up until this recording, a 2-year purgatory. So we will see what's going on, but I get a feeling that all of these guys are ready to go, and they're just slowly dripping them out, and I feel that, in my opinion, judging by how long it took to get one limb and now the next, we'll probably have, dare I say, all members revealed maybe but before 2023 even comes around. And that'd be pretty cool if they kind of have that kind of pattern where it won't take absolutely forever to complete your combiner team. It might just take something that might take maybe a year or a year and a half, which is fantastic to hear if they continue this trend with some of, let's say, some of the other combiner guys. So that's pretty cool. Other thing I want to mention about Getsuei that's kind of different, at least from Shuki, a lot of the Trainbot members, the color schemes that they had in Transformers were very different from their Diaclone origins. Again, just to create that kind of difference from what came before in the same Japanese market only a couple years prior. So they changed up the color schemes to give him something unique for the Transformer world. I mean, that was the case with most of the car robot stuff and Microman stuff too. But in the case of Getsuei, he's one of the few that actually is pretty close to what even his original Diaclone version was. So if you were a fan of even Diaclone Getsuei, or whatever he was called back then, probably EF65 1000, electric train robo, whatever they probably called him back then, you kind of get a version of that. Of course, it's not going to have the Diaclone drivers, but maybe a little Daniel to put in him, much like we saw with Shuki, how they were showing all the little interactions and stuff. I am interested to see more about this, primarily because while Raiden is probably one of the lesser interesting combiner teams, at least for me, in terms of fiction, story, his design at least is interesting, and this will all be a greater indication of how probably Masterpiece combiners will be utilized in the future. So that's the most important takeaway from all of this, is to look at this and go, what is this going to do for other combiners later on? Because we all know if we finally do get like some legitimate combiners in Masterpiece, it's going to be cray-cray. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be expensive, but at least we'll know how they roll this stuff out. At least we'll know that much. So anyways, let me know what you think about it. I mean, there's not much really to take apart here, but at least it will be interesting to see. It looks like he's going to come with, again, his C-joint locks for doing the combining to the different trains in alt mode. He's going to come with the train track. He's going to come with his little Naito laser, as it's called here. Night laser, his little gun, and the robot mode itself. So let me know what you think. Hype stuff. And hopefully we'll get some more information really soon. Maybe some nicer images, hopefully before the live stream this weekend.